Let's go live on TikTok. Hi, everybody. Okay. Hi, everybody. Greetings, greetings. Be sure to get your notebook and your pen, your drink and your snack. I'm going to be having a cup of tea while we speak. And I should probably put like some foundation or something on my face. And, I hope I have enough battery. Happy New Year, Julia. Okay. So for those of you on TikTok, you're not going to see much of a difference. Why is this one open? Are you like serious? It's like someone already opened this. I don't even know what it is. Like it's like you get this like you get makeup from the drugstore and you're looking at it and it looks like it's new and closed. And then when you start using it, you come to discover that it's not new and is not sealed. I just opened one now and it looks like it was used before. I can't believe that. It looks like it was used before. I just opened it up now and it's kind of looking like it was used. Okay. So, folks, get your notebook, your pen, your drink, and your snack. We're going to learn about the last obstacle. There are other, I think in the list of obstacles that I mentioned, I don't think I mentioned illness or sickness. Because I was looking it over the other day and I'm going, did I talk about illness and sickness as one of the obstacles that you can experience if you don't answer your spiritual call? And I don't think I did one on that. So I don't know if I should treat that separately or if I should just fold it into today's class and call it a day. I'll go ahead and fold it into today's class. How about that? And when I got this foundation powder thing. I also picked up um some lipstick, only to discover when I got home that the lipstick had already been used. And it was like, and not only was it used, there was like very little left in it. So I think like somebody, um, I think what they did was they used the lipstick and they didn't want to pay for a new one. So they just went ahead and swapped out. They went ahead and swapped out um, their used lipstick for a brand new one. And so, and but they did it in such a way that it looked like it was new, but it wasn't new. Or maybe it was a tester. Maybe they had it out there as a tester, and then because it was the last one, it kind of made the tester look like it was brand new. Because sometimes store people will do that. They don't want to waste the merchandise, and so they will put it out there like it's brand new, but it's not brand new. And so if you don't check the thing, you won't realize that what you're using is a tester. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I think I kind of look kind of fairly presentable now. Hello, everybody. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Hello, sweet mommy. I just emailed you. Hello, Sister Effie. I got your email. So let's talk about the last obstacle in the series, the kind of obstacles that you will face when you don't answer your spiritual call. Remember um, that if you need to book me for your consultations, you can do so at drtochi.com or tochi.us. Where did you get my wig? Honey, this wig used to be a long wig. And you know how, like, the edges, like, after a while, the edges start looking rough and raggedy. So I went ahead and trimmed it. And I was like, I want to make a wig that looked like Whitney Houston's kind of wig. So I tried to give it a little shag in the back, situation going on. So that's what happened. It used to be a much longer wig. Okay. It used to be long, you know. I just went ahead and trimmed it. And then I trimmed it at an angle like this. That's what I did. I'm cheap. I didn't want to buy a new wig. So I was like, I'm going to use this wig. Do it yourself. You're absolutely correct. Remember to like and share the video. Remember to like and share the video. That lets other people know that class has started. Okay. We have an event coming up on the 25th of January called Reclaim Your Authority. If you want to s- if you want to start practicing spirituality that goes beyond spirit guides, I encourage you to consider signing up for this retreat. It's going to be for 7 days. And we're going to be learning how to work with our own we're going to be learning how to work with our own spirituality beyond spirit guides. Those of you on TikTok, can you hear me very well? Because I know like last time people were saying they couldn't hear me or there was something with the audio. So please let me know if you're in TikTok, if you can hear me. Because I can just quickly go ahead and put on a mic myself. It's just that once I mic myself, sometimes to balance the device becomes a chore. So if you're looking to work with spirituality beyond spirit guides, okay, and not be overly dependent on spirit guides and orishas and deities and gods and goddesses, you probably want to sign up for this retreat. Okay, thank you, Sister Effie. Yeah, you probably want to sign up for this. How to start using your own spiritual power, your own spiritual ability to do to start solving problems for yourself. Okay. So remember to like and share, like and share. Okay. If you're on TikTok, feel free to tap the screen. If you're on YouTube, feel free to give a thumbs up and let folks know, share, let folks know that class is in session. The thumbs up really helps because I think that's what lets the platform inform people that class has started, which is kind of a shame because you would think that if people have their notifications switched to on, that the platform should automatically do that. But I have people who come up in the comment section and they will say, no, I set my notifications on and it didn't let me know that, class was in session. So we end up having to do that manually. Okay, so for today, we're going to talk about signs and symbols. When you have been called to spiritual practice, you will get a lot of signs and symbols. There will be no shortage of signs and symbols coming your way. No shortage. So you will not be there saying, I never knew that there was something going on, or I never knew that, something out of the ordinary was going on. Thank you to those of you who gave a thumbs up, heart. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. So there's no way you're going to say, I didn't get any sign, I didn't get any symbol. Okay. Oftentimes you will get signs and symbols in your dreams. Okay. I just did a dream interpretation for someone. Oh my God. I just completed the dream interpretation and then forgot to send it. Oh God. That is funny. I just did a dream interpretation, finished it, and then forgot to send. I got distracted by other things. Okay. See that remember that part I kept saying I need to trim, I need to trim. I have my scissors now, so I need to trim it. And then there was another one that was kind of sticking out. I think it was on this side. Okay, if it sticks out again, I'll trim it. I have my scissors here. I just did a dream interpretation now where the person's dream was heavily loaded with spiritual signs and symbols. Okay. And in that dream, there was um dreadlocks up in there, white clothing up in there, spirit guides up in there in that dream. And I am willing to bet that if the owner of that dream interpretation goes and does a divination, or they've probably done a divination already, if they go and get a divination, they will get a confirmation that they were called to spiritual practice. I would not be surprised because there was just so much in that dream that pointed to a spiritual call. Okay. The hair, the person, someone showing up in the dream and telling them what to do this, and do this, and do that. Okay. Oftentimes, when people have been called to spiritual practice, it will not be unusual for them to dream of spirit guides of different kinds appearing to them as people. Usually, you will see an old woman, an old man, And that old woman or old man will be telling you to do something in that dream. Okay? They'll be telling you to do something in that dream. So people wake up and say, well, I dreamt of this person and they were asking me to do this or do that in the dream. Do not ignore that dream. Don't ignore the dream. Trust me, you do not want to be ignoring that dream. Pay attention to what you're being told to do in the dream. It's going to make your life a lot easier. Now, I'm not saying if you have a dream and the person is saying poke someone in the eye, wake up and say, well, Dr. Tochi said I should do whatever I was told in the dream. So therefore, since I have to poke someone in the eye, I'm gonna go ahead and poke them in the eye. That's not what we're saying. They will not tell you to do anything harmful. They will not tell you to do anything harmful. And when you have spirit guides showing up in the dream and they're wanting to let you know that you've been called to spiritual practice, they will not have you do something harmful. Okay? Neither to yourself or to others. And a lot of things they will be telling you to do will be ritualistic, or they will it will be like a procedure. Go and do this thing. And it will be something that's very simple and easy to remember. They're not going to say to you in the dream, oh, go build a house. And after you're done building the house, make sure you install a fireplace. And after you're done installing the fireplace, make sure that there are these fireplace posts that you put in there. Make sure that each fireplace post, has an inlay of gold, and then go to Walmart and then buy some green towels, lay the green towel. They're not that if you're having a dream that is giving you those kinds of things and steps and whatnot, no, you're dreaming of something else. That doesn't have anything to do with your spiritual practice. Okay. Has nothing to do. Usually, when you have a dream that has something to do with spiritual practice, it's very simple. It's usually a very simple directive they will give you. Very simple. They may say, go make this offering. Or they will say, go talk to so and so. Or they will or they may say this invocation or say this prayer. Or they might tell you something directly. They may come to you and say, you have been called to be a priestess. You have been called to be a priest. It's usually very simple message. And the reason why it's a very simple message is because they know when you wake up in the morning, it might be challenging for you to remember something that is so complex. So and what they're trying to do in that dream state is to push a message to you that is simple, direct, that you will remember very easily. They're not going to be trying in that dream to give you a PhD. They will not be in that dream trying to train you. Yeah, no. It's usually instructions. And remember, we're talking about spiritual practice here. Somebody might say, well, how about the inventors? Tesla said he had dreams. Edison said he had dreams. A lot of these inventors had dreams where everything would be laid out. Mark Twain used to have these dreams where he would call what did he used to call them? They would come in the dream and tell him the story and map it out how his story should be. And then in the morning, he would wake up and write his each chapter of his novel. Okay. So they were folks who would have that, but that had nothing to do with spiritual practice. Okay. Spiritual practice, usually the instructions are sweet and to the point. Do this. And that thing they're asking you to do is connected with your spiritual practice. Another sign and symbol that you will get is patterns. And if you go on social media, you will see a lot of people saying, well, I'm seeing all these repeating numbers. What does it mean? I'm seeing 333, 444, 1212. I am seeing 888. I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. And people will say, oh, those are angel numbers. But here, let me tell you some interesting things about these so-called angel numbers. Okay. If you go to Google and you put in what is the meaning of 222, or you go to Google and put in what is the meaning of 333, what is the meaning of 1212, what's the meaning of 777, what's the meaning of 55555, what is the pay attention, all the definitions, all the explanations you will get are the same. It will tell you, oh, it's a sign of blessings, it's a sign of spiritual awakening, it's a sign that your angels are trying to talk to you, it's a sign of renewal, it's a sign of expansion, it's a sign of evolution. It's all the same. It is all the same. And most people don't pay attention to that. They're like, oh, okay, I put in Google, what's the meaning of 222 and 333, and it told me it means expansion, elevation, spiritual awakening, that my angel guides, my angels are listening to me, and but put in another number. You'll see that what it will tell you is the same thing. Okay. And we can try that experiment right now. Let me open up a Google window. And I'll put 222222, angel number meaning. Let's try this. Angel number 2222 is one that implores you to bring calm, balance, and abundance to your life. Okay. 2222 is a sign of harmony and balance in your love life. Trust that the universe is aligning everything for your highest good. 2222 angel number is a powerful symbol of balance, trust, and positive manifestation. It reminds you that you are on the right path. So we're seeing peace, harmony, you're on the right path. Let me change that to 3333. 3333 conveys a transformative message from the celestial realm, urging us to embrace our true selves and tap into our hidden potential. It signifies divine synchronicity, guiding us towards personal growth, spiritual awakening, and manifestation of our desires. What does that even mean? 333 is a magical number with significant meaning and symbolizes creativity, growth, and self expression. Do you see that all of that is meaningless? So when people come in the comment section and say, "Oh, I want to know the meaning of 22233127777 whatnot," I usually don't respond to it because I know you can go to Google and Google is going to tell you it means personal transformation. And do you see how vague these answers are? It means Peace and transformation and blase, blase, blase. And these so-called definitions of these so-called angel numbers miss the point. And you might say, what is the point? The point is not the numbers, it is the pattern. It's not so much the numbers, it's the pattern. Why am I seeing this pattern? Tagma says, yes, it means blah, 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 blah. Yeah, like, I just read here. Okay, what does it even mean? The repeated appearance of 3333 signifies divine synchronicity, guiding us towards personal growth, spiritual awakening, and manifestation of our desires. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Is it the number that's guiding me towards my divine nature? Is it the number that, what does it even mean? And remember the chat we did the other day when I was saying be careful of profound sounding words. Okay, remember to tap. That lets the algorithm know to inform more people we're in class. Okay. All right. What does it even mean? And so a lot of us get taken in by these profound things that sound profound. Okay, so here I'm looking at this thing and it's saying is guiding us towards personal growth, spiritual awakening, and manifestation of our desires. What does that mean? How does that solve any problem that I have? So a lot of times we get caught up in profound sounding definitions, but in reality, that those definitions are not saying anything. We need instead to be paying attention to the fact that you are seeing a pattern. Don't get caught up on what's in the pattern. Get caught up on the fact that it is a pattern. Do you get the difference? So if I'm sitting here looking outside my window and I'm seeing for a period of 2 minutes, all the cars passing are white. All are white. All are white. There's no other color, but they're all white. That's a pattern. And I need to pay attention. And I need to say, why are they all white? I'm looking out my window and only white cars are passing by. I'm not going to sit down and start saying, okay, is it a white Mercedes or what white Rolls Royce? Is it a white Bentley? Is it a white G Wagon? Is it a white Honda Civic? Is it a white this? Is it this? Is it that? It's the pattern. We need to pay attention to the pattern. Okay. We need to pay attention. Yesterday, I was at the Verizon store and I saw someone. I don't know who they are. They didn't know who I was. Today, the person I met or saw, I shouldn't say met, the person I saw at the Verizon store showed up at my front door today. That is a pattern. And the person recognized me. That's a pattern. And that's something that I need to pay attention to. Random stranger. And then today they show up at my front door. And it's not like they were following me. They didn't know I lived here. They had no idea who I was. I had no idea who they were. And they are here for a legitimate reason, very legitimate reason. So I embraced the person. And my job now is to listen and pay attention because that lets me know that there's information coming my way. And that information may be coming from this person. It may not come from this person. But what seeing this person has said to me is pay attention. There's information coming your way. There's a message coming your way. Pay attention. When you have been called to spiritual practice and you are humming and hawing and you are sitting on the fence, you will get those kinds of signs and symbols. You may even have people who come to you and they will start asking you for help along the lines of your spiritual gifts. And you'll be there saying, how did this person know that I can do this thing? Remember when I told the story of the couple that I was in a restaurant with a friend, and the couple approached me and said, hey, can we ask you a question? And I said, sure. And they said, here is a dilemma. We want to know. My girlfriend here is asking, should she give her first paycheck to her pastor or to her father? And I asked them, what prompted you to approach me as a stranger? This is my first time in this restaurant. I've never been here. And this is not even in the United States. This is in a foreign country. And I'm here trying to eat with my friend, and you are asking me this. And they said, well, you look like the sort of person. Something just said, ask her. They didn't know I was a spiritual practitioner. They had no idea. They had no idea. So your calling will attract your people to you, oftentimes without you having to say much. And it will be a lot of times a request for help. Can you explain this to me? Can you help me with this? Can you recommend this other thing? And it's not just going to be a one off, it's going to be like serially. It's going to be serially. These are signs that you need to pay attention to. Another sign is if you keep getting sick with the same kind of illness or similar kind of illness, and your doctor is saying to you, we do not see the cause of this illness. We don't see the cause of this sickness. Tagmas, can I come up and ask a question? Can I finish today's, can I teach what I have for today? Please. Do I have your permission to teach today's topic? Do I have your permission to teach today's topic? Do you permit me? Hey folks on YouTube, I have someone over here. who wants to come up and start asking questions. So that's why I'm asking them if I have their permission to go ahead with today's class, because maybe I don't have their permission to teach. You know what I'm saying? All right. So when you have the sickness, sometimes it's chronic. It's not acute. It's not an acute illness, it's a chronic. Okay. And the doctors are saying, "Well, we can't figure this out. We can't figure this out. We can't figure this out." There are some people who will discover when they have ignored their spiritual practice, they will start having or manifesting an illness that runs in their lineage. It will start showing up. It also happens with folks who are from royal lineages and do not know that they're from royal lineages. And so I'm putting that in as an aside. It can also show there are some people who come from royal lineages. They're not aware that they come from a royal lineage. They need to be acknowledging and operating within that royal lineage, and they're not doing that. So certain illnesses, unexplainable illnesses, will start showing. And when they start researching that illness, they will find out that there are other people in their lineage who have had that illness. And if they do not acknowledge their lineage or do not acknowledge their spiritual practice, that illness will persist. Sometimes the illnesses will have to do with mental health. That is why you will see some people, if they do not answer their spiritual call, they will start having mental health crises, and they will start seeing things and hearing things. Again, I'm not saying that this is the cause of all mental illnesses. Let us be clear as to what I'm saying. I am talking about people who've been called to spiritual practice. Everything has been going well with them. They have no issues. They're carrying on with their lives. And out of nowhere, they're having this mental health issue. And when they go to the doctors will say, oh, it's genetic. And they're sitting down saying, okay, maybe my father had this, my grandfather had this, my great grandmother had this. But how about my family members who are not showing this thing? Because if we're all related, that means we have the genes for this thing. So why is it expressing in me? And why is it expressing now? And of course, the scientists will say, random selection, and for some people it will switch on, and some people the gene will switch off. So why is it switching off for you? And sometimes you may be the healthiest out of everybody. You might be minding your diet, minding everything, and then suddenly this thing starts happening to you. You will start having metabolic dysfunction, mental health issues, things of that nature. That is why I believe in holistic healthcare. So while we're looking at the physical things that are going on with someone's health, we also need to look at the spiritual that is also going on with the person's health. We look at everything. That's what I believe in. So as you're getting clinical advice, also get spiritual advice. I think I've told a story here about one of my uncles, and he just passed last year, around this time last year. He kept resisting his spiritual call. and his businesses failed, and he kept resisting. His father was a very powerful spiritual practitioner, and he was called to spiritual practice, and he's like, no, it's not for me. I have older brothers. Why should I be the one being called to spiritual practice? I want to live my good life, run my business, enjoy my life with my friends. And one by one, he started losing everything. His wife took the kids, the 5 kids, and left him. His business collapsed. His store caught on fire. He got evicted by his landlord, and he had to end up at the family house because he had nothing. Oh, before he ended up at the family house, he was like hanging out with friends, squatting with friends, that kind of thing, family members. He was like, and he was getting these divinations saying, your father's work falls to you. You are the one who is supposed to carry this work on. And he's like, I ain't doing no such thing. I have plans for myself. I have plans for my life. Can't nobody make me do what I don't want to do. And he kept on losing and he kept saying, no, I'm going to go to church. I'm covered by the blood. What God cannot do does not exist. And so on and so forth. And that went on until he lost an eye. And I don't quite remember right now. I'm gonna call one of my uncles later to remind me why he lost an eye, but he lost an eye. Beauty be like, no. Mhm. Thank you for sharing the live, Beauty. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. He lost an eye. And after he lost the eye, he quickly went back to the family house and started looking up his father's equipment. He'd be like, okay, I'm ready to be initiated now. I'm ready to start. I'm ready to start now. So, so he became the one-eyed spiritual practitioner. It's like, I can see you. Okay, come over this way. He was a sweet guy. It's just that, he ended up having an alcoholic problem, which was there's another story behind that one. But he could have been a two-eyed spiritual practitioner. But because it took him so long to obey his spiritual call, he became the one-eyed practitioner. Okay, so come over here. Let's find out what the gods have to say about your situation. Okay. I'm gonna cast the bones right now. Well, from what I can see, all pun intended, I can see now. Y'all don't make fun of him. I can make fun of him. He my uncle. But my kind of person, I'm not gonna wait that long to wait to lose a limb or an eye or something. I'll be like, I'll start right now. How soon do you want me to start? We're not gonna get to that point where I'll be like, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Did you bring some offerings? Okay, where are the offerings? Okay, they're over on this side. Let me turn my head so I can see the off. Oh, okay. Y'all have the offering over there. Okay, bring it over here to my good side. Oh my God. Oh my God. Sister Effie, you're gonna make me snatch off this wig. Over here on TikTok, Sister Effie says the other eye was intended for the spiritual world. Oh my God. Oh my God. So one eye was a physical eye and the other one was a spiritual eye. I see you with my physical okay. Let me talk to the spirits with my spiritual eye. Beauty says now he can see both worlds very clearly. Oh my goodness. So now, so he could see, he could see both worlds. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the moral of the story is don't be delaying to answer your spiritual call until you lose an eye or lose a leg. Okay. Or God forbid, you should lose a breast. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll be out here on these social media streets and you'll be like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to share with you my spiritual experience. And the class I have for you today is the reason why I lost one of my girls. I didn't answer my call on time. And at the end of the day, one of my girls had to go to the spirit world ahead of me as an offering. One of one of my girls, the spirit guides, my spiritual crew took one of my girls as an offering, as a disobedience offering. And then when people want to refer clients to you, they'll say, "Don't you know her? Um, that's Mama One Breast." Um, go no, Mama One Breast is good. Go get a reading with Mama One Breast. And I need to say that with with I need to say that with an accent. Go to Mama One Breast. Because they won't, they won't pronounce it all the way. They'll be like, go to Mama One Breast. Has Mama One Breast done has Mama One Breast done a divination? Or imagine people trying to give directions. Okay, oh, you want to get to number 914 Main Street. Okay. Here, let me give you directions. Go down the street and you will see a sign, okay, for Mama One Breast. Once you see the sign for Mama One Breast, you are close. You can now make a left. You or ask anybody around there. If you're confused, just ask for Mama One Breast. Once they show you this is Mama One Breast house, then make a left. So please answer your spiritual call on time. Please answer your spiritual call on time. Don't let Don't make yourself into a signpost. Oh, have you uh, you know, it can even happen to men, you could be called Papa One Ball, Papa One Ball, Man was waiting too long to accept a spiritual call. He ended up with one ball instead of two balls, you know what I'm saying? So they'd be like, no, the herbs, Papa Wumbo's herbs are really strong. Go to Papa Wumbo. But how he end up with one ball, don't worry about that. Just go to Papa Wumbo. Just tell him that you're having tummy ache. He will give you real powerful herbs for your tummy. If you go to Papa Wumbo's place, you have to take a number. There's so many people that start congregating there at 8 o'clock in the morning. And because he's now Papa Wumbo, he be, Papa Wumbo have to be, kind of walking, because the weight, the proper weight balance is no longer there. So, if you're a guy and you only got one, you know that you're gonna be favoring one side over the other side, you know. People like, "Hey, Papa One Ball." You'd be like, "Hey, how are you, my children? How are you? How are you? How are you?" Papa One Ball, I'm coming to see you. My child has rashes. Okay, come on, come on. I'm at home. You can come and see me. Just because he refused to answer his spiritual call. Then he became Papa One Ball. If he stands up to speak at the town hall meeting, they'll be like, hush, 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 hush. Papa One Ball is about to speak. Papa One Ball about to speak. So, ladies and gentlemen, do not use yourself as an experiment in disobedience. That is my sincere advice. If you have been called to spiritual practice, do not use yourself as an experiment. Don't be there procrastinating until you start experiencing vanishing body parts. Okay. They say, who that coming down the street? That Papa One Ball. Papa Wumbo, how you doing? I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. And he walking and limping to the side. Answer the call expeditiously. Okay. So anyway, we've had fun with this. And you can see it's such a nice, beautiful day. All right. So do you have any questions about today's topic? Because today is the last day. I'm just going to wrap up this topic and we're going to move on to other interesting topics in spirituality. Do you have any questions about today's topics? Okay. Do you have any questions about today's topic? When again, take this home. If you are seeing patterns in your dreams, in real life, in your waking hours, just realize that a message is being conveyed to you. Okay. And you need to pay attention. Pay attention more to the fact that you're being shown the pattern than to the pattern itself. If you have dreams, and just like I said, I did someone's dream interpretation today. If you have someone saying explicit things to you in the dream in terms of what you should do, okay, you need to pay attention to what they're telling you to do in that dream. If the person is saying, Go here and make an offering, go there and make that offering. If they're saying, hey, you need to start your work as a spiritual practitioner, start your work as a spiritual practitioner. If they come to you in the dream and say, stop eating this thing, stop drinking this thing, don't look at it as, oh, this might be as a result of the Netflix movie I watched last night. No, it's an explicit instruction for you. There are sometimes you will have spirit guides come to your dreams and tell you, like you're there wondering, why is this thing happening to me? Why is this thing happening to me? And they will come to you and say, stop this thing or start doing this. And when you have someone come directly to you in your dreams and say, do this or stop doing this in your dreams. And when they were saying it to you, they didn't say it to you with a sense of fear. Okay. So it's not like they were talking to you in the dream and you were feeling afraid. No, you're calm in the dream. And they're saying, don't do this or do this. This is not what you need to be jumping up and running to go tell your pastor. The message was meant for you and not your pastor. Your call to spiritual practice is for you and not your pastor. Beauty, should we set intentions for guidance before sleeping? Yeah, you can do that. But if you've been called to spiritual practice, what other guidance are you looking for? Obey. The first thing you need to do is obey. And many of us have a challenge with obedience. I had a challenge with obedience because I'm like, look at me. Why should I be doing this? I could be doing some other more exciting things. And I pay the price for that. So I'm telling you this so that you don't have to pay the price. Kanye West's mother came to me to help her son in 2022. I'm still spooked about the details. I don't follow him or know much about him. I kept asking why me. I had such an experience to stop speaking to a person, bacchanal, lies, gossip. Pay attention to the patterns. Any other questions about today's topic or about answering the call in general? I have some people who they will get a divination, and the divination says you've been called to spiritual practice, and they will be doing everything else under the sun but answer the call. They will do everything else. I have some people that will do a divination and they're called to spiritual practice. And they're having problems. Then the person will come back to me and say, do you have any rituals, any things I can do to deal with this problem? But they haven't answered the call. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it doesn't make sense. If you were told that your vehicle is leaking oil, then you notice on the dashboard that the oil gauge is going low. What should you do? Is that a time for you to say, you know what? Let me do a detail of the interior of my car, or let me wash the outside of my car. Oh, okay. I'm having a leak. So I think the bright thing I should do is let me buy oil, engine oil, and I'm going to keep it at home. And every morning I'm going to keep on adding oil to the engine. I'm just going to keep on adding oil. Is that what you're supposed to do? You already know your vehicle has an engine oil leak. Is the solution to the problem going to buy oil, storing it in your home, and every morning you're like, okay, I know my car is leaking, so what I'm going to do, excuse me, I'm going to keep on adding oil to the engine. And some of us will do that. Some of us, that's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to handle that problem. We know we have an engine oil leak, and we're like, nah, Macy's, they have a end of year winter sale. They have an end of season winter sale. I don't think I should be putting money into this engine situation now. So I'm gonna just buy oil and I'll keep on adding it to my engine and I'll take care of it later on. Thank you, Mrs. Lawani. The person should fix the leaking part. But many of us won't do that. We will be like, well, there's a sale going on Macy's. Oh, there's a new restaurant opening up. I need to go hang out with my friends. I need to buy these shoes. I need to do this thing. Oh, there's a party. I need to buy the party outfit. I'm just going to buy some oil, and each morning I'm just going to keep on adding oil to my car engine. I don't know what you mean by multiple spiritual practices. Explain to me what you mean by multiple spiritual practices. Okay. So the prudent thing for you to do is to fix the engine so that it stops leaking. It would be the most prudent thing for you to do. Fix the engine. If you've been called to spiritual practice and you're having problems, the most prudent thing for you to do is to answer the call to spiritual practice and not try to be there saying, okay, let me solve this problem. Okay, there's this other problem coming. Let me solve this problem. Oh, here's another problem coming up. Let me solve that problem. Some of us will do that. I have some people, they have problems and they will come back. They'll say, yes, in the last divination I did with you, Mama Tochi, you said I was called to spiritual practice. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah, but right now I'm having problems in my relationship. I want you to do a divination to find out the reason why I'm having problems in my relationship and what I can do to fix it. And I will say to them, have you answered the call to your spiritual practice? And they'll say, no, I just figured I could take care of it later. But right now, this is what's going on. Has it occurred to you that the reason why you're having that relationship problem is because you have not answered the call? Answer the call. Or some other ones will come and say, well, my pastor said, So you did a divination. It says you're called to spiritual practice, right? Yes. But my pastor said, who is having the problem? Are you having the problem, or is your pastor having the problem? Oh, I don't want my pastor to think that I'm being disobedient or I'm being obstinate or I'm being this or I'm being that. You don't want to your pastor to think. In other words, you're more concerned about managing your pastor's expectations than solving your problems. What sense does that make? You don't choose. You do what you were called to do. You don't choose. You do what you're called to do. If you're called to do one, you do. If you're called to do more, you do it. Some of you who are on TikTok may have seen there's some kind of drama going on amongst the Nigerian pastors going on now. And somebody, and I don't even know the origins of that, they have been posting over the past few days voice conversations. Somebody has been recording voice conversations between pastors, the male pastors, talking about how they're having intimate relationships with the female pastors. And it's messy. It's very messy. There were some I was listening to, I was ashamed. I'm not I'm not a pastor. I'm not involved with these pastors, but there were some of these things I was listening to. Even I myself, as a human being, as a woman, I was ashamed. And these pastors were talking about how the female pastors were buying them first class tickets and how they were giving them favors. And they were even talking about what was happening during their intimate encounters. Some of these pastors were talking about how they lined up female pastors and how they were dating or being intimate with multiple female pastors at the same time. Some of them on these and somebody was recording these phone conversations, so it's just like so bizarre. And you will hear them talking about, oh, while I was dating this female pastor and that female apostle and this female evangelist, I was also dating this other pastor's daughter, this other pastor's wife. I was also dating these people in my congregation. Exactly, Ms. Zerpenda. They were talking about how some of the female pastors put themselves on them, the male pastors, with very explicit language. I was ashamed. I was beyond embarrassed. I was ashamed because some of the names being mentioned are names of people that we respect. And you're looking at some of these women, they are so gorgeous and they're so beautiful. And it's real gorgeousness. I'm not talking about like my TikTok face here, because you look at me at TikTok, I'm looking like a doll. I mean, we're talking about people. If I stood with them side to side, you'd be asking, hey, Dr. Tochi, don't you think you should move a bit to the side, move off to the side? These are women with congregations and money and connections and whatnot. And why am I saying this? Many of us have more spiritual power. Many of us have more spiritual um, resources than these people. And yet, when your spiritual crew speaks to you, when your spirit guides talk to you, they are the first people you run to go and tell. One of the phone conversations that they've been putting this thing online. It's on TikTok, it's on Instagram. One was saying, oh, laughing. He was saying, oh yeah, she's the apostle, whatever, mentioned the woman's name. And he was talking about how she was initiated into there's this women's women's society, cult society. He mentioned the name of it and mentioned that she was initiated to take over from her mother, who was a leader of this thing. And he talked about how this female church leader every morning would bathe herself with urine and alligator seeds in her bath water. And basically, you're having these male pastors warn each other about the spiritual shenanigans of the female pastors. You even had the spouses of these pastors part of these conversations. Why would you take your spiritual revelations to go and discuss with these people? Why? And some of them, in order to do damage control, started posting videos of themselves with their congregations. And they were saying to their congregation, oh, I'm being besmirched. And the congregation is like, ah, fire, Holy Ghost fire, fire them, Holy Ghost fire. And their congregations are blindly carrying along with this thing, all this nonsense. Why would you take your spiritual life and destiny and put it in the hands of these people? One of the pastors was there talking about, I mean, I was so embarrassed. I was ashamed. I mean, these men were laughing amongst themselves, like, oh, when you are intimate with this, they started listing the names of these female pastors or female apostles or whatever. And they were like, if you sleep with this one in the process of the intimacies, this is what she says, and this is what she's doing, and this, and the other one was, oh yeah, yeah, that proves you did sleep with her. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because when I did the same thing, that's what she did. Uba Abdi says, wouldn't all these shenanigans weaken their gifts? Can somebody answer that question? Because it looks like Uba Abdi, you're not understanding what we're saying here. Abdi says, wouldn't all these shenanigans weaken their gifts? Ms. Rependa, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As the repenter says, what gifts? Beauty says they gain more power with initiation of others. How can you how can you this has nothing to do with joining late. I'm just talking about it now. You had already made comments. Aren't you the one that said, what if you had multiple spiritual practices? How do you choose so you were here when I started talking about this. So it has nothing to do with being late. It has to do with thinking critically. If somebody is out here running their ministry and they're involved in shenanigans like this, do they have gifts? It has nothing to do with joining late. You didn't join late. We have to learn how to think critically, and that's what I need you to do, to start thinking critically. A lot of the people that you go to consult have less spiritual power than you do. Because if they had the kind of the spiritual power and spiritual gifts that they claim to do, they would have enough prescience to know that they have no business being in bed with those male pastors. They just know how to tickle the ears. Yeah, and that's what I said at the beginning of the class, that many of us are carried away by profound language. Somebody says something. Oh, feel the spirit. I feel the spirit moving upon the face of the earth. And everybody goes, ooh. Everybody, what exactly does that mean? And people think they know what it means, but they don't realize it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. And many of us get taken in by I like the way, Beauty, you said it, by these words that tickle the ears. And we think it's profound. Somebody says to you, oh, you need to look at the expression of how the power descends and multiplies. What does that mean? I need people to start thinking for themselves. Start thinking, folks, start thinking. What does that mean? And some people say, oh, what it means is the acts of God. What? Okay, what acts of God? Explain it. Explain it so that a 5-year-old will understand. And then you'll find out that it's meaningless. Okay. And I want you to understand this is not just in religion, it's not just in Christianity this thing happens. It also happens even in our spiritual spaces. The use of meaningless language. Okay, we just looked at this one. Angel number 333 conveys a transformative message from the celestial realm, urging us to embrace our true selves and tap into our hidden potential. The repeated appearance of 333 signifies divine synchronicity, guiding us towards personal growth, spiritual awakening, and manifestation of our desires. So, my question is, explain that to a 5-year-old. Can you explain what I just read to a 5-year-old? You can't, because it's meaningless. Explain that to a 5-year-old. You can't. Explain it to a 4-year-old. You can't because it's meaningless. So, so I need us to start thinking critically. Empress na Nyambingi, that's not the point. What I'm asking you to explain is what I just read. What does it mean? Explain to a child that 333 signifies divine synchronicity, guiding us towards personal growth, spiritual awakening, and manifestation of our desires. Explain that sentence to a 5-year-old. What does that mean? Where did angel numbers come from? Is there somewhere in your Bible, in your Torah, in your what's the other one? Uh Mrs. Allen, help me out. I'm just having a brain fart right now. Tanuk or your Quran. Where is it written in there, angel numbers? It's not there. In all the conversations you will read in your Bible, in your Tanukh, in your Quran, even in your Bhagavad Gita, there is nothing like angel numbers. Then somebody says angel numbers are speaking to the expression of divine synchronicity. What does that mean? What does that even mean? So let us not sit here and criticize Christians and say, oh, they're deceivers, they're confused, they're this, that. Even within the spirituality space, we have the same kind of BS. We have the same kind of BS. And in spirituality, you will hear people say, oh, look at the aspect. When you consider the aspect of this planet with the other aspect, and then you follow up on the aspects, then you see it results in the divine illumination that moves you forward on your spiritual journey. What does that mean? What does that even mean? Many of us have no freaking idea what that means. And the reason why we don't know what it means is because it's meaningless. Like we were saying yesterday, in we had member classes yesterday. We had member classes yesterday, and we had our member ritual yesterday. And for those of you who are members, remember we had this conversation yesterday. When I say return to basics, if it cannot be explained with basic principles, chances are it is just hot air up your new where. And many of us think that everything has to be complex. Solutions have to be complex. Understanding has to be complex. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. And what you are doing be explained to a 5-year-old? That thing you believe in, can it be explained to a 5-year-old? If you can't explain what you believe and you can't explain what you're doing to a 5-year-old, then you are not even sure of what you're doing. I'm a spiritual practitioner. I work with spirit guides. I teach people about spirit guides. I teach people about their own spiritual power. That's it. I teach them how to use their spiritual knowledge to solve their everyday problems. So if a 5-year-old comes to me, I tell them that they will understand that. And they might say, Auntie Tochi, can your spiritual practice help my mommy and daddy come back together? Yes, it can. And it can help them come back together in a variety of ways. They may be divorced, but they can co-parent. They can have conversations without trying to pluck out each other's eyeballs. They can come together and respect each other. They can become friends instead of enemies. They could decide to have a blended family. So this one goes and gets married, this one goes and gets married, but both families now act as one huge family. There are so many ways your mommy and your daddy can get back together again. They can choose to remarry each other. There is not just one solution to that issue. You have to be able to explain your spirituality to a 5-year-old. Once you're going into, oh, we are going into interdimensional realms where the expression of angelic power is crystallized upon the grid, bye bye, I'm out. Because I have real life problems to solve. Oh yeah, we're here to help people escape the matrix. Why should I escape the matrix if I'm living in the matrix? Shouldn't I be mastering the matrix? Instead of trying to escape the matrix, can I dominate the matrix? Can I manipulate the matrix? Everybody talks about, oh, you're in the matrix. We got to escape the matrix the way that Neo escaped the matrix. Let's go look for the red pill and the blue pill. Why do I need to do all of that? If I see that there are other people who have dominated, mastered this matrix, why can't I be like them? Why can't I dominate this matrix? Why can't I manipulate this matrix for it to do my bidding? Why can I not be the dominator of this matrix? Why should I run away? Why can't I stand and dominate it? And so most of us think that our spirituality is escapism. If your spirituality is your form of escapism, you have missed the boat. You have missed the train. The train left you behind at the station. If the spirituality you're practicing is a spirituality of escapism, no, I'm going to be off the grid, I'm getting out of the matrix, I'm going to exist on multiple dimensions, but not this dimension, you have even lost before you started. Your spirituality should let you, and not just let you, enable you to dominate any reality in which you find yourself. Do some of you remember the class where I talked about some women who are not classically beautiful, but people come across them and are seduced by them? And you'll see the women are overweight. They're not, they don't have the classical beautiful faces. They don't have the classical beauty shapes. They probably, there's so many things about them that if you looked at them on the beauty scale, they would probably rate a 2. Well, you would find people totally seduced by them, submissive to them. Some of these women control men in power, men that have money, men, and you're looking at this woman and you're like, what is it about this woman? She's not that good looking. She's overweight. She's bulging in the wrong places. What is it? That's a woman who has dominated her reality. She's not there saying, oh, I need to escape from this matrix. I'm not pretty like a supermodel. I'm not skinny like a supermodel. I can't compete. No, she dominates. So even though her body looks like an earth goddess body, voluptuous, maybe her girls are hanging down to her navel. Men love her that way. Women love her that way. They can't just get enough of her. She has dominated. She didn't need to escape anywhere. And you will see that woman, and people are there giving her things, giving her gifts, giving her connections, giving her business. And you and I are here buying human hair, buying clothes, shoes, being on diets, fasting, praying, getting facials, plastic surgery, and we don't have half the gravitas that she does. Learn how to dominate your reality instead of escaping it. Huko Nairobi, watching you from Nairobi, Kenya. Welcome to class. Find a way to dominate your reality. Don't sit there and say, oh, I've tried for 1 week and it doesn't work, therefore I'm going to give it up. No, just say, however long it takes for me to dominate, I will dominate. And I will dominate exactly the way I'm looking, exactly with what I have. I will dominate. I will acquire knowledge. I will go out of my way to acquire the knowledge it would take for me to dominate my reality. Dominate your reality. Happy Sunday, Nikki Adele. Nikki's in the house. Nikki's in the house. Nikki's in the house. Okay. Find a way to dominate your reality instead of escaping from your reality. Aye. But many of us are like, how come? Now, I need folks to answer this question. Why is it that those 600-pound women always have husbands and boyfriends? But a lot of beautiful, skinny women can't find someone to buy them dinner. Explain that to me. You have a woman who is 500 pounds, 600 pounds, 400 pounds, 300 pounds. She got a doting boyfriend. She got a doting husband. She got a doting girlfriend. If she wants to, any which way she wants to swing, there are people waiting on her. How do they do this? Beauty says because they focus on themselves first. Yes, they're very self-centered. And I don't mean self-centered in a negative way. They are centered on themselves. If you're coming into their orbit, you will serve them. Nikki Dale says they're not picky. How much has your pickiness helped you? They're like, okay, I'm 500 pounds, but I'm going to pick a person who serves me. Obabdi says they're comfortable with their reality. You're correct. You're very correct. And you may think they're not picky, but they are picky. They pick the people who will serve them. They don't switch up when anybody comes into their circle. It's either you're going to accept or go. A 500-pound woman is going to pick the man who's going to clean her, bring her food. If you're not going to clean her up, if you're not going to pick her up, if you're not going to buy her food, she has no business with you. So she is picky. But there's some of us who are gorgeous and slender. We look like supermodels, and we're like, I don't want, what was that song? I don't want no scrub. Scrub is a guy who can get no love from me. But the 500-pound person has someone who is showing up, shoveling her sidewalk, getting her pregnant. And somebody might say, oh, well, maybe they're interested in her SSI check, or maybe they're interested in her food stamps, but he's working. He's working for it. Because when she says, go get food, he will go and get that food. He will not leave her starving. If he goes and does not bring the food, she will cut him off faster than a bad toenail. A 500-pound, 600-pound woman has what she will accept and what she won't accept. And what she's not going to accept is being starved. I'm not going to be starved of love. I'm not going to be starved of affection. I'm not going to be starved of food. I am not going to be starved of drink. But there are many of us out here in these streets who are not like that, but we will allow others to starve us in the hopes that they will love us. And we say to people, oh, I have standards. You don't have standards. because you're allowing someone to starve you and play all kinds of mental games with you, and you're still not getting what you want. How do you have standards if you can't stand? That's a good one. A 500-pound woman, a 600-pound woman is centered on herself. If you come around her and you're like, I'm interested in you, she's already looking at you through the lens of, are you going to work with me? Are you going to do what I want? And I may not want much, but I need you to do what I want. And if it means bring me food, bring it. If it means cook me food, cook it. If it means bring me drink, you will bring it. If it means turn me over and help me clean my hiney because my hands can't reach there, you will do it. And if you're not going to do it, someone else will. So you decide, are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? But some of us are out here in these streets. We can reach our behinds. We can cook for ourselves. We can do all kinds of things. And we're still begging someone to come over. And even when they come over, we're begging them to stay. And the person's like, I'm not going to cook for you. Oh, don't worry, I'll do it. I'm not going to bring your food. Oh, don't worry, I'll get it. I'm not going to get your drink. Oh, that's okay, I'll get it. I just need you to stay. A 500-pound person is not going to tolerate that. If you're not going to bring her the food and the drink, if you're not going to help her take care of Fido, if you're not going to help her scrub her back, she has no use for you. And she will quickly replace you. And the rest of us are out here saying, well, she doesn't have a choice. She has to take whatever she gets. But you got none. At least people coming to her. Is there anybody coming to you? There are many of us out here who are top notch, looking good, edges laid, nails did, lashes on point, and no one coming. Same thing for the men. You will see a 500-pound man and he has a doting wife, a doting girlfriend. These are masters of their reality. And in their reality, they're saying, this is what it is. I am 500 pounds. This is what it is. So in my reality, I am going to work with people who accept my reality. And my reality is that I'm 500 pounds. If a person cannot work with this reality, if they're out there in the parking lot screaming at me, lose weight, lose weight. If you don't lose weight, I will leave you. I will find somebody else to replace them while the words are still coming out of their lips. They will be replaced. Do you know that there's some people who have a fetish for obese people? So they have no shortage of suitors. They have no shortage of interested people. There are people who that is their thing. There are some people that's their thing. So if you're there screaming at them, I'm gonna leave you unless you come down to 130 pounds. While you're there, child, these people are already on the horn. While you're there screaming and frothing at the mouth, they're already on their phone, chatting with somebody else who's interested. They've mastered their reality. They've accepted their reality. They're not sitting there saying, I want to escape this matrix. Nope. You're right. Tyrone waiting. Tyrone waiting because Tyrone is like, if I can get with this 500-pound woman, I will have somewhere to sleep. I will have a roof over my head. I will not go hungry. And as long as I do what she tell me to do, I will have a place to stay. I will have food. I will have drink. And she don't want much because at 500 pounds, it's not like she's going to be out clubbing or she's going to be out doing all kinds of things. No. So taking care of her will be kind of straightforward. If she says fetch it, I will fetch it. And if she's spending like if she takes 4-hour naps, I can run out there and do what I want to do in 4 hours, but I'll be back. And I know what she likes, and I will give her what she likes. If she likes having 7 pounds of chicken wings, I will go get her and give her the 7 pounds of chicken wings. No ands, ifs, or buts. We will not argue over that. And I know if I make her cry, I will be replaced because there's a whole bunch of other people out there who want this position with her. There's competition, but there's a whole bunch of us, the rest of us, there's no competition going on. So what I say to you is that in 2026, start looking at how you can use your spirituality to master your reality. How can you use your spirituality to master your reality? Instead of making excuses and instead of trying to escape it, how can you master your reality? How can you dominate? I know I want to be over there, but where I am right now, I'm dominating. This is why a lot of us are all up in these crazy churches where all these pastors are doing these crazy things that we were talking about earlier. Because we're trying to escape our reality. And we think that the reality being described and painted by these pastors is the real reality. But listening to those voice notes and those messages tells us and lets us know that that is not even the reality that these pastors live in themselves. And like I said, when you listen, all those voice notes and those conversations, they're all over TikTok. Imagine a pastor saying, "I stopped flying economy in the year 2000. All I have to do is to ask these women, tell not even ask. All I have to do is to tell these women I do not fly economy and they will buy me a first class ticket, both domestically and internationally." Me personally, I've never bought a first class ticket for any man. One, because I'm stingy, I'm frugal. I've never done it, not even for my husband. because I'm frugal. I'm the sort of person who's like, well, this money that we're spending on this, we could actually hoard it or keep it for something else or use it for something else. That's the kind of person I am. But what kind of reality is a female pastor, a female apostle or evangelist or whatever their title is? What kind of reality are you living in that you would be intimate with your husband, with other pastors, with your house help, and you're intimate with all these men, regardless of the presence of your children in the house? What kind of reality do you live in that you will pay first class tickets for men to come to you? You will book the hotel. You will book the flights. And once these pastors come, you're like, oh, man of God. You're holding your girls, you're offering your girls and saying, here, I want you to. I'm trying to think of the platform safe word for it, of my girls, and I'm going to on your pipe. And you don't care if your children are in the house. What kind of reality are you living in? And you look in the mirror and you're gorgeous, you're wealthy, you have congregation full of men and women who will do whatever you tell them to do. But you subject yourself to another pastor who is not as wealthy as you, not as popular as you, not as powerful as you, just because of intimacy. What kind of reality do you live in? And you know the saying, when one finger dips in oil, the other fingers will also get oily. So now that they're publishing all these voice notes and voicemails and phone conversations on social media, even the female pastors who were on the side, minding their own business, trying to get a little something, something on, quietly, their names are being put out there on social media as well, just because they didn't take the time to dominate their reality. If I were half as good looking as these women, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I don't even know that I'll be sitting here creating content. I would be on a on a so I will be my I will be having people preaching on my behalf, teaching on my behalf. I'll be so full of myself. I'll be so full of myself. I will be so, so, so full of myself. I swear to God. Use your spirituality to dominate your reality. Look at your reality and say, is this what I want? If there are things in your current reality you don't want, how can I use my spirituality to start changing it? And once you start changing that, you can start looking at other realities that you see for yourself, and you can say, okay, here's another reality I want to inhabit, but I have acquired the tools in this reality that I can now apply to these other realities that I want to inhabit. I got the tools here. So now here's another reality I want to inhabit, and I'm going to take the tools I've learned and acquired here, and I'm going to use it to operate there. And while I'm operating there, I'm going to acquire more tools with which to dominate that reality. One of the fears that we have is the fear of being seen. Many of us have the fear of being seen. And that is also related to our realities. And is also related to manifesting alternate realities. Let me leave that for a class for another day. I want to go outside and play. See the sun? I want to go outside and play. Whenever the sun is out like this, I want to go outside and play with my toys. All right, folks. So thank you for coming to class today. Remember that we have level 1, Reclaim Your Authority, class coming up on January the 25th. If you want to start learning how to work beyond spur guides, then that retreat might be it for you. There's information about that on my website on tochi.us. Go to my events page and you can read all about it. Okay. Or you can send us an email and we will send you the information on how you can secure your seat. If you're still at the level where you're working with spur guides, that's okay. You don't need to come to this retreat. But if you have been working with spur guides for a while and you're like, you know what? I want to start exploring higher levels of spirituality where I am no longer using my spirit guides as a crutch or using them as crutches, then this is the kind of retreat you want to be at. And it's going to be for 7 days. It's going to be a lot of hard work in 7 days. Okay. You will learn something, trust me. And you will go away with something. At the very least, your reality will be changed. It will be challenged, not changed. It will be challenged. And you will start thinking differently about your reality and what you can do. And you will put yourself where you no longer have to envy other people, their reality. Because you will have working tools. Okay. So remember that starts on January the 25th. If you need more information, let us know. I'll be glad to send it. If you'd like to book a spiritual consultation with me, please go to my website at tochi.us or drtochi.com. I don't do consultations outside of my website. All right. I don't do consultations in the comment section. I don't do them by DMs. I don't do them by emails. Okay. All right. We're thankful to our creator, our guardian spirits, our ancestors, our spirit guides for today's forbidden fruit. For those of us who have been called to spiritual practice, we ask to be encouraged to accept that call and to do the right thing so that we can manifest our destinies as planned. Ashe, Ise, Kamagu, the Koza, Lasedi, Mkwande, Ayababo. It is done, it is finished, it's complete, and Yenho. Ma'at, Amen. So do something nice for yourself today. Take out your favorite cologne, spray yourself liberally, and go out and have some fun. Okay.